Samantha Soroyan from Vallejo. I'm a homeschooling mother of 4, and I oppose the bill.
My name is Emily Bentley. I'm a resident of Berkeley, California, and a small business owner, and a mother of a selectively vaccinated child, and I oppose this bill.
My name is Jennifer Alexic. I'm a registered psychotherapist from Sacramento County. I am the mother of 1 child who passed away within 24 hours of a series of 3 vaccines. I'm the mother of 3 healthy, partially vaccinated children who have all tested positive for the MTHFR gene genetic mutation. I am not anti-vax. I am pro-safer vaccine scheduling, and I am pro-biological testing as a preventative measure to prevent vaccine injury. I oppose.
My name is Beverly Young, and I'm from Santa Cruz, California. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I adamantly oppose this bill that takes away our freedoms. It's very poorly written. Thank you.
Judith Riegel with the County Health Executives Association in strong support. Thank you.
Kat DeBerg with the Health Officers Association of California in strong support.
Alicia Sanchez with the California Medical Association on behalf of our 40,000 members are proud to be a co-sponsor of this legislation. Thank you.
Lydia Bourne representing the American Academy of Pediatrics, California School Nurses Organization, and a board member of California Immunization Coalition. We are in strong support of this bill.
Nicole Wertelman on behalf of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors in support.
Susan Colon, member of the cannabis community, mother who had, she was a victim of an injury, so am I, and I'm completely against it. I'm also a successful party in suing Medi-Cal, and I think it's wrong what you're doing.
My name is Marco Prina, Berkeley resident. I'm a teacher. I have 3 years old. I oppose this bill.
Hi, Ann Coons, President and CEO of the California Children's Hospital Association on behalf of our 8 hospitals, and we provide over 600,000 inpatient days to some of the sickest children in California in strong support of the bill.
I'm Rebecca Nelson from Huntington Beach, California. I have a business there, and I strongly oppose 277.
Okay. Couple comments, just for everyone's information. We do have, to the table again. Just for information, we have had quite a few overflow rooms. We have a lot of comment cards. I just want to let everybody know that, you know, they're in our possession and we will take a look at them. And again, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, participating in the democratic process. What I'd like to do is ask if we can have an equal amount of those, the proponents, as well as the opponents, that we can fit in the chairs up here where there's a microphone to come up. And if we can get the joint author up here as well, if we can get it down here, the joint author to be down here as well. Now, what I'd like to ask of the opponents and the proponents, that you only be allowed to speak if you are directly asked a question. So at this time, I am going to open it up to questions to the members. The members will most likely ask questions to the author or through the author. If the author chooses to allow one of the opponents or proponents to speak, they'll do that. But just to...
That's one of these opponents. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 opponents.
So how many opponents do we have up here? We should have equal amount.
Well, we don't count. You and I. One of these opponents has to go. Yeah. I don't know, they can pick.
So we need 2 more proponents to come up.
There she goes. There's a big, yeah. There you go.
Okay, I think we have 4 and 4 now, I think.
No, we only have, 2.
No,
well, we don't count as authors. Right.
They can sit over here, we can move the mic back and forth.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get up.
We have 3 and 3? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, looks like we have 3 and 3. And again, if you're asked a question, please respond. Otherwise, it will be only questions or comments from any of the members. So at this point, I would like to open it up to any questions or comments from any of the members. Who was up first? So I believe Senator Hall was up first. We'll go ahead and go with Senator Hall.
So in my district in Los Angeles, about 95, 96% of the folks in my districts support vaccination, have been vaccinated, if you will. So I'm just trying to figure out if it means that 99% of the folks in my district are wrong about this. Because if that's the case, then I'd rather be wrong with the 99% of the folks in my district who actually support it. And here's the challenge that I have. If, in fact, there are folks in my district understanding the importance of this, supporting this, and there's a small population of folks in the district perhaps cannot be use the vaccination or be vaccinated, if you will. And then there's a certain portion of folks in another area who say, we don't believe in this. And that small portion in my district who cannot be, because of an illness or what have you, are exposed to folks who have not been vaccinated. What type of harm would that place my constituents in? An opponent.
Is that a question or a comment?
It's a comment. It's a question, rather. Yes. The doctor, please.
You want somebody for the bill?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I understand 100%.
So if someone is in my district and they're sick, they have some type of condition where they cannot be autoimmune disease of some sort, and they're exposed to someone who perhaps is ill, who choose not to be, vaccinated, if you will, would that person put in harm's way? Would that person put my constituent in harm's way?
Yeah, so if you have a constituent in your district who is immune compromised or from whatever other reason they can't get vaccinated, then if they're exposed to infectious disease through another unvaccinated person who's unvaccinated by choice, that puts that person at risk. And it's hard to quantify the risk because for every different infectious diseases are more or less contagious, and then the vaccines are more or less protective. So measles is a good example because it's one of the most highly contagious diseases.
So that is also true for others then, right? So that is also true for others, right?
Right, it's also true for other vaccine preventable diseases such as mumps or pertussis.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe Senator Monning had a question and a comment, then Senator Woke.
Yeah, I'll start with a question. And again, I want to thank the chair and the staff for coordination. I do want to thank all of those who've come to testify today. Clearly, there's a common motivation, which is concern for our children. That's what brings everyone here today, and I respect that. Let me start with a question. Maybe through the author, Dr. Pan, but maybe also for the doctor, and it picks up on what Senator Hall asked. Several of the people who testified in opposition said they were opposed because they have an autoimmune disease or disorder. Would your bill would the medical exception allow somebody with an autoimmune disease not require vaccination?
Yes, actually, existing law, which we do not touch.
Shh, please, no comment at this point.
So actually, existing law for the medical exemption allows a licensed physician in the state of California to exempt the child with a medical exemption for vaccination. And so if the licensed physician believes that that child is at risk for injury from the vaccine, they can simply give a medical exemption. There is actually, in many ways, the law has no restrictions on a licensed physician in being able to do that.
Thank you. And then maybe for the pediatric physician from UC Davis, kind of the same question. In your practice, could you profile a situation where a child who presented, what type of child would be a candidate for medical exemption from vaccination?
Thank you. Yeah, so let me give an example from a child that I would see. So for example, a child with maybe lupus. And to control lupus, sometimes one needs to use high-dose steroids for immune suppression because it's an autoimmune disease, so you want to calm down the immune system. In that case, they'd be more susceptible to infectious diseases, but you may not want to give them even a weakened form of the virus that's in the vaccine. So for example, you specifically wouldn't want to give them MMR vaccine because it is a live virus that might multiply more than you would want it to. And that specific patient, you would certainly exempt from that vaccine.
Thank you. And in your practice, does that describe real situations where you have supported or recommended an exemption from vaccination?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I think I do have some other comments, but I think maybe I'll defer till after there's other questions, and then when we wrap up, I might have an opportunity.
By all means.
Thank you.
I believe Senator Woke, comment, questions?
Mr. Chair, I don't have comments. I'm ready to move. I mean, I don't have questions. I'm ready to move to a motion when we're ready.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Senator Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, a comment. I don't know if it's appropriate, but I did sit through the entire public comment period, and there were certainly some difficult points made during that and some difficult times during the process. And I just wanted to first commend the extraordinary professionalism displayed by my colleague from Sacramento during that process. I'm not sure that I could have done quite as extraordinary a job as he did during the public comment. Now my question, I believe in vaccinations and in appropriate cases requiring them, but I have some concerns, and I apologize for missing part of the process. I had to chair another committee at the very beginning of this hearing, but it's my understanding that in addition to the measles issue, which we have been concerned about here in the United States, that this bill mandates that a series of other vaccinations be administered, about 9 others. And so my question is, why are we mandating the other 9? And I guess I don't care who responds. Dr. Pan?
Certainly. These are all vaccinations for diseases that can certainly put children at risk. So, for example, polio is a required vaccination. Hopefully we don't want polio to come back. We also recommend require DPT, it's just pertussis, tetanus, and diphtheria. And while some people have pointed out that tetanus itself is not a contagious disease, it is combined with pertussis, whooping cough, and diphtheria. And most people have never seen diphtheria here in this country, but actually, for example, in Russia, when they actually had a tremendous drop in vaccination rates during the chaos after the fall of the Soviet Union, there actually was diphtheria that re-emerged in Russia. So hopefully we will never see diphtheria come back to the United States. It's known as the silent killer, but that's another disease we require. Hepatitis B, one thing I would make note is that hepatitis B is a disease that's actually the main cause of liver cancer. While some people would say that well, why should my child doesn't have sex, doesn't do IV drugs, why would I want to immunize? Actually, there are children who catch hepatitis B, perhaps through through some sort of contact or something during childhood. We do know that cases of children pick up hepatitis B when they're young, and that's why the recommendation is to immunize them as children, because immunizations don't work after you catch the disease. You have to do it before you catch the disease. But every one of these immunizations, and that is one that I think we can talk about that actually causes harm, and that the benefits of vaccination certainly far outweigh having the disease continue. The other thing I want to point out is that while it is true that in current state law, and we didn't change that part of the law, that the Department of Public Health can make decisions about adding vaccines to the to the legally required schedule. So this is not, actually has not happened in the state of California except through the legislature and for actually, I think for a very long time, decades. So in many cases, we're actually not even requiring that children get vaccinated with every single recommended vaccine when they enter school, just a subset of them in terms of what's in the law. So the law is very clearly stated which particular vaccines are required.
But for some time, this list has been, I call it sort of an opt-out situation with the person of belief exception. You can opt out of getting one or more of the vaccines on the list. So aside from measles, which has been of some interest in the media and otherwise, was there some triggering event that causes us to now think about mandating as opposed to allowing an opt-out for Hep B, for tetanus, for polio, which has been an issue off and on for years? I'm just curious, is this just a convenient time for us to revisit it and require all the vaccines?